All right, you clicked on the video. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. But now I need you to hit that subscribe button, and I need you to ring that bell so you can get notifications for when we post videos. And I need you to smash that like button. Clearly, I got way too animated, but I need you to smash that like button so we can see how far we can really take this video. We appreciate you. Enjoy the content. Let's talk about this Michael B. Jordan. This past week, we got some news that Michael B. was indeed at least talking to Warner Brothers about potentially doing a Superman film, which is interesting to say the very least, for a lot of different reasons. Let me get your quick thoughts before just on the idea of Michael B. playing.
Yeah. So I don't think it has been confirmed that Henry Cavill is stepping down.
That's another aspect of the story. Yeah.
So like what we could have here ultimately is something like what we saw with 007, right? Where's there's stories and rumors of, an actor stepping down from a particular character, like who plays 007? Daniel Craig. There were reports and rumors of him stepping down from 007. Ultimately, he reprised the role for this last movie. So, we could see Henry Cavill play Superman in the next movie. But we do know that Michael B. Jordan has had an official meeting with the executives at Warner Brothers to talk about the possibility of him playing Superman. Right now, Michael B. Jordan is the fan favorite. I think there's a lot of really positive buzz around him playing the next Superman.
Yeah.
I think from a business perspective, right, if Warner Brothers were to do this, well, I mean, let's be real. A lot of white people are going to be upset, right?
Yeah, white people will. And you know what? I found this hilarious because I think for anybody, and you know me, dude, like when we talk about race and things like that, I usually come down the line of like, I'm not going to assume that people like are racist or typically speaking, right? Like I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. Like when we talked about the Julia Roberts thing, although clearly that guy in one shape or another was definitely racist. Yeah. However you want to cite it, whether you think it was a joke, whether you think it was being serious, clearly that dude was racist. But I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, right? It's interesting the reaction to this because it's like, what the fuck about Superman is quote unquote white?
Yeah.
He's an alien.
He's an alien from another planet.
Another fucking planet.
Krypton, right?
Like nothing about him is based solely off of his skin color.
Yeah.
You can make fucking Superman green, although the idea is he's assimilating into our society relatively seamlessly in terms of like just if that's why he's able to adopt the persona of Clark Kent is because he looks like he's human.
Yeah.
So it's just very fucking interesting hearing the arguments. It's just, oh, historically he's always been white.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Great.
Yeah, but we all know history is often rewritten, right? So you don't come at me with the historical angle, right?
Yeah.
If we're gonna talk about the character, if I were having a debate with anybody who were trying to defend maintaining Superman's whiteness, right?
Yeah.
My argument would be, all right, divorce yourself from his skin color, right? Focus on the story. Where is he from? Is that if we're calling him an alien from another planet, then we have to divorce ourselves from him being black or white or Asian, right? Yeah. He's an alien from another planet who comes to Earth, who's founded by, the Kent family who lives on the farm in Kansas, right? That family does not have to be a white family. That family does not have to be a black family, Asian family. It could be a family of any color, right? The story can still... Superman's entire story can still be the exact same.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Regardless of his skin color.
I'll take it even a step further. It doesn't so we could get to Michael B. Jordan and he could still be raised by Martha and Jonathan Kent and they can still be white.
They can still be white.
I literally don't understand what the what the objection to is other than historically now, but that points to a very higher sort of issue is I think it would be amazing to see Michael B. Jordan as Superman for the sake of again, and I used to historically say like, this doesn't really matter, especially to me, like it doesn't matter. But dude, what would that do for a generation of, you know, kids, but more, I guess, specifically black kids, if they see this person with the skin color that they have as the most powerful superhero of them all.
Yeah.
The most iconic superhero of them all. But what's crazy is that white people, especially white dudes, take that for granted. Meaning that, oh, we've always
like Superman. No, he's a white guy, right?
Yeah, the most powerful
and what they're thinking about is
white.
Well, like, no, he's white. I'm used to him being white, and you know, I want to be able to show this white Superman to my kids, right?
Yeah.
What they're not thinking about is the fact that there's an entire, you know, there are many other races of people who don't have the privilege of being able to constantly see these, you know, superheroes who look like them and who have the same skin color, who have the same hair texture as them on screen, right? So, you know, we've had 60 years of white Superman, right? If you're going to bring in a Superman of a different ethnicity, right? I think what...
Let's try that one more time.
Ethnicity? I did fuck that up before. I said ethnicity. If you're going to bring a Superman of a different ethnicity, right? I think what needs to be the focus here is the quality of the story, right? The quality of the character, and also bring in a great actor who can pull this off, right?
No, 100%.
And if I had to choose just off the whim, who's the better actor, Henry Cavill or Michael B. Jordan? Well, Michael B. Jordan, because I've seen him in a more dynamic range of roles.
Sure. No, there's just simply no doubt about that. But I think what it comes down to is that it's about assumption, right? Like, so for instance, you know, seeing Michael B as Kal-El, as the last son of Krypton, again, like it's like it's not even like a luxury at this point. It's just like, oh, like the default, right? Like we've seen, you know, white Superman after white Superman after white Superman, right? And again, I don't genuinely have like an issue with seeing that, but it's when you have an issue with seeing a black dude as Superman that I have to start questioning, well, why do you feel that way?
Like, I can accept a white Superman.
Yeah.
After 60 years or 70 years, how long this character, I think Superman might even be like over...
No, yeah, he's been around since like the 40s, 50s, somewhere around there.
Superman's at least 70 years old, right? Sure. If I can accept that for 70 years, why is it so difficult for, you know, the people who are against it to even accept the idea of Michael B. Jordan taking the meeting?
I genuinely don't know. Like, outside of I think you might have to look to, like, might have to look a little deeper inside,
because it's not like
I have an issue with this.
It's not like he's a bad actor, right?
No.
So let's take that off the table. We know
he's
the most
racist, but if you watch Fruitvale Station, you'll be like, look, I may be racist and I may call this dude a nigger, but
this guy was good, right?
Choked up.
No, if you're a white guy, there's no way you watched Fruitvale Station and didn't take the side of the cop. Like, well, he reached for his gun. Like, no, he didn't.
But
he was
well acted though. Well acted was that role.
So, you know, there's no way you argue, because we know he's a good actor.
Yeah,
we know that he can, from an acting perspective, he can, you know, perform the task. He can deliver. Mm-hmm. We know that from, you know, physical perspective, we don't need to CGI too much.
You don't even need the suit, because I'm sure with Henry Cavill they padded that bad boy. Like,
no. Henry Cavill,
he was jacked.
Yoked.
He was yoked up.
He's jacked.
But still,
in real life,
you know, you don't, like, from Creed 1 and then also Creed 2.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah, we don't need to pad that.
Yeah, you know, he's in the gym. He can fit the bill, right?
Yeah.
So what it really comes down to is, like, whether or not you're willing to accept the character.
Sure.
And if you're not willing to accept it, why not? Similar, I brought up 007 for a reason, right? A lot of people were against Idris Elba playing that role because they're like, well, you know, 007, he's white.
Well,
right?
That I kind of got a little more. Like, I still don't agree, meaning that, like, I still think that Idris would make a fantastic fucking Bond.
Yeah.
In fact, maybe the best Bond we've gotten so far. But I at least understand a little bit more, meaning that from the region that Bond technically is from his in terms of, like, his relationships, like, with his parents. Like, if you look back at the history of Bond in terms of, like, how he grew up and yada yada, it's hard to imagine that was a black dude, because, like, that just wasn't common at that point in history.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing: James Bond is an alias. 007 is his agent.
We've gotten
number.
to this argument before. We're not going to rehash that.
I'm going to give you a quick synopsis. So James Bond is not like a real character or a real person. He's an alias.
We've talked about this.
Anyone can adopt that alias. 007 is just his agent number. There's a 001, there's a 002, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right?
We talked about that, but our point of disagreement is that thinking that James Bond, as in the actual name, forget divorced of 007, is just an alias. James Bond, I believe, is the actual person who has an actual backstory and history. So, for instance, in Skyfall, we got to see a lot of that in terms of his, like we went back to the house he grew up in.
Yeah,
we got to hear about his father, yada yada. So,
but his real name wasn't James Bond.
Did they ever say that at any point in the movie?
Yes, James Bond is the alias.
They said that in Skyfall.
Yes, in Skyfall.
When? At what point?
When remember, like when they were like rediscovering his past and his history, where he came from. He was not born James Bond. Nobody is born
specifically
James Bond.
When in the movie did they actually say that?
I don't have the movie right in front of me.
No, what I'm saying is that is not a thing. It is. I literally just watched the movie like 2 weeks ago.
So James Bond is the alias given to the agent by MI6.
Okay,
he is not a person.
Okay,
he's an alias.
Sure.
007 is his agent number.
Okay.
Anyone who assumes the position of 007 adopts the alias of James Bond.
Okay. Well, we'll actually see in this movie, because there actually is another 007, and I think it's not Letitia,
like
right?
A former 007, right?
No. Like the.
Oh wait, no. There's a new 007.
Yes.
The black woman. I forget her name at the moment.
So we'll see if your theory actually holds true. Because even if I just looked at the IMDb right now, guarantee you I won't see James Bond next to her name.
Well, no, that wouldn't make sense. Why would her name be James Bond? So again, James Bond.
You just said.
So James Bond is the alias, right?
You just said James Bond is the alias associated with the 007.
No. 007 is the agent number. James Bond is the alias used by MI6. So just because you are 007, again, the agent number, does not mean you have to be James Bond.
007 is MI6. Like, why would they have two separate things for the same person?
So, how do I explain this to you?
It's not explainable because it doesn't make sense. We're getting really sidetracked.
Yeah, we're getting really sidetracked. But if you are an agent for MI6, right, and you assume the 007 position, right, that like is like an operational program, right, in MI6, you are now in the 007 operation.
Sure.
You have to then take on an alias because you can't use your real name. Historically, under the 007 operation, that agent has been known as James Bond. Right? If you're going to replace that 007 agent with a female, then you clearly cannot use the James Bond alias. You have to use another alias.
But that's why I'm asking, like, well, why, just logically speaking, why would you do that if you know you're going to run into the very easy problem of, okay, if you replace 007 with a woman, now you can't even use that same alias that you've used for years that you've associated with the 007.
The alias doesn't. The alias is just a name. It's just what you put on the person's passport, their credit card.
Okay, but again. And I hate the fact that I'm even in this argument with you, but like I just watched Skyfall 2 weeks ago, from beginning to end. Actually, one of my favorite movies. It's my
Javier
favorite.
Bardem is incredible.
Incredible. My favorite Bond by far. It's the only one I can watch like through and through, no matter what. Like if I watch some other, like if I watch like Dr. No, I just have to be in the state of mind to like want to watch Dr. No. I can't just watch it off the cuff. Skyfall I can watch whenever, whenever. Just watched it. There was not even a stitch. I promise you, I'm not bullshitting you. I promise you, there's not a stitch of hint that James Bond isn't his name.
So,
in fact, there.
You know what? Here's what I'm gonna do for you. I'm gonna watch that movie tonight.
You should. Here's. I'll even take it a step further. There's a dude there. I forget he's the groundskeeper or whatever, and he literally calls James. You're back. Old boy, like the dude who knew him when he was a kid is calling him James and knows his father, who was something Bond. And
I think they recruited at
I think that they even visited a gravestone for his father, or we saw like a snippet of a gravestone for his father that actually had Bond on the fucking gravestone. So it's like, what? I don't understand what you're arguing.
If you're going to change someone's identity, you have to change their past.
Okay, whatever.
Right?
All right. Okay, let's finish up this conversation.
I'm going to watch this movie tonight and because it's a fucking great movie. So I have no problem watching it.
You should. And then report back what would you
We'll report back.
All right. I'll report back. To tie up this whole thing with Michael B. Jordan as Superman. So we have an article from Collider, and I think they quote a Variety article. Articles are like 3 things removed. It's always like, I'm reading an article that's quoting another article that's quoting another. It's like, it's very strange. According to Variety, the studio is trying to find a way to make Superman relevant to modern audiences, and have spoken with J.J. Abrams, which isn't surprising since Bad Robot recently signed a massive first look deal with Warner Brothers. What's more surprising is that there was a meeting with Michael B. The hang up there, as Variety reports, is that Jordan isn't ready to commit to taking on the project, since filming doesn't seem likely to happen for several years, and he has a full dance card of projects. Insiders think that the new Superman film is likely to hit screens before 2023, given that there's no script and no director attached. And this is all still with the backdrop of Henry Cavill has even publicly stated, "Hey, my nigga ain't done yet."
Yeah,
he didn't say nigga. Like, I don't want to get Henry Cavill in trouble. But
if he did, who would fight him?
Not many. Yeah, I wouldn't want to take a punch from him. Yeah. That Superman punch.
We'd have to get like Deontay Wilder or something like that.
Although I don't know, he doesn't look like he's like the fighting type. He looks jacked.
Deontay Wilder?
No.
Henry Cavill?
He doesn't look like he's a fighting type.
No. He's not really throwing. Yeah. He's not in the streets throwing.
Yeah. So anyways, so I think this is very interesting, right? That Michael B. is the person not committing to it because they won't be filming for a while. I think the only reason why I think you wouldn't, especially if you go take a meeting about it, I'm sure you're taking meetings about all sorts of shit, this being one of them, but one of the main reasons why I think you probably wouldn't try to attach your name to this type of project is because it really does depend on who's directing. If there's no director attached yet, if Tim Burton walks through the door and is like, "Hey, let's make a Superman movie," I simply won't make the movie. Like, no, I'm not going to be in that.
I'm out. And then as an actor, if you commit to a movie and then you pull out because there's a director involved, it's just not like a good look.
Yeah.
So you don't attach yourself to the project until you know who's directing it, who's producing it. Then you're like, okay, who's writing it? All right, I'm willing to attach my name to
if what they pitch to you is bullshit, and I think it. I don't know if it was in this article or some article, but I believe he pitched the idea to them of what it could be. And if that's the case, that's even more curious that he's not trying to commit. Because if I come to you with an idea, I say, "Hey, this is a great idea," and you're like, "Hey, all right, cool. Like, let's start working on it. Let's put that into motion." And I'm like, let's hold off for a little bit.
No, that's smart.
Is it?
Here's my idea.
Yeah.
Bring it to life. If I like what you guys have put together,
why would I bring it to you?
Then no, that's what great creators do, right? Like Steve Jobs was like, "Hey, I've got an idea, right? Apple Music. Figure out how we can get this done, and then when you guys put some thought around it, come back and if it's a thing, then I'll sign off on it, right? Great creators, right? Never are like focused too much on like the details and the process and how it gets done.
That's hyperbole. What do you mean great creators never are? Of course, there are some creators that are. That's all they
visionaries, right? Focus more big picture. Like at the end of the day, what will this thing look like? And then you bring people around you to focus on like the details of how do we get from this vision to reality, right? So maybe Michael B. Jordan's like, "Hey, what if I played the next Superman and like this is what the possible stories that we can tell, blah, blah, blah." And then the studio is then going to find a director, writers, producers to maybe bring that to life. But if I'm Michael B. Jordan, I had this idea. Can we bring this to life?
Yeah, I think it's very interesting, right? Like with any sort of Superman movie, I don't even care if it's Michael B. or anybody to play it next. They've got to do something different. We've got to get something different than what we have gotten. I feel like I have a great grasp on like what you can do with the Superman character now. It's going to be because we've gotten the same Superman for so long, and he has a specific, like, he's the Boy Scout is sort of like his nickname. He has a very specific image, so I think that's what like pigeonholes people into only doing one specific type of story. But I think the reason why the way you make Superman interesting is to, for one, not make him so fucking strong, right? Like they made him impenetrable in, you know, this whole Man of Steel series with Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman.
The Superman story in general, to me, is just fucking insane how strong they've made this character.
He's absolutely ridiculously strong. I think you got to knock him down at least a peg or two. You got to give him like
he's not in. I mean, if you really look at the like who are the strongest heroes in the DC universe and the Marvel universe, right? Realistically, Superman is not the top motherfucker. But if you look at the comic books and the history of the character, he is the strongest character across both universes. No fucking way.
Yeah. But I think the reason why people can identify with the Spider-Man, the reason why people can now identify with the Captain America, you're always seeing Cap bleed. You know, no matter what fight he's in, whether he's fighting the Winter Soldier or whether he's fighting Thanos or whatever, you see him. He's going to bleed, and he's going to not like. He's going to get tired. He's going to get like in Man of Steel. At no point that I really was like, oh, he's in danger of losing to Zod.
No,
I was like, yeah, he's going to win this. Like,
and mind you, Zod was from the same planet.
Yeah,
Zod was he was a warrior. He was a trained warrior, right? Who had all the same powers as Superman.
And yet that fight was just like,
Superman was not a trained fighter. He was just strong, right?
Yeah.
So ideally, or not ideally, but realistically, Zod had everything that Superman had, but he was more of he was a warrior. He was a trained fighter. He should have beat Superman in the Man of Steel, but you know, we're just gonna give Superman more speed and he's stronger and he's able to beat this warrior.
Yeah,
no, it's not real.
But anyways, like I'm saying all that to say, like, yeah, you have to make him flawed in every way, like physically as well as, you know, personality wise, right? He can't just be this Boy Scout who's always doing the right thing, who's always saying the right thing, and because that's not really like a personality. I think our personalities are dictated by both the combination of our good traits as well as bad traits, right? Like, and in all of our characters, that's what we find, right? So, like, for instance, even with like a Captain America character, the biggest, at least from this iteration that we got with Chris Evans, the biggest and the most intriguing thing, it didn't really get interesting when we saw the first Captain America. It was like, it was cool. And you could blame that on like the style choice for the movie or whatever the case is. But also, I think the reason why the Winter Soldier was so, that film was so unique and interesting was because you got to peer into his ideology in terms of, now he's looking at the government like, whoa, like where do I actually stand on this? Like, I don't know if I'm just like, you know, gung ho, go country. Now I realize I'm a part of this system that's fucked up.
You see him make a choice where he's like, you know, I'm all for protecting, you know, America and this country, but like my family and my friends, the people I care about, like I put that over the government's
or just
initiatives or you know, whatever. Bucky is more important to me than doing whatever mission you think is important to you, right? Well, then you see him make that departure.
The whole idea of you know, having just blind faith in a system, right? And I think that's what's called into question with the Winter Soldier. That's why it's such a fucking interesting and different film, as well as then you carry that over to Civil War, right?
Yeah, where they ask him to sign the Geneva Accords,
and he's like, no, I can't do it, you know?
Yeah. The best hands are my own.
Exactly, and that's not a right or wrong thing, meaning that there are pluses, both Tony as well as Cap or Steve in that case, like both of them had a point to what they were saying, right? Neither was really wrong. You know, there was both positives and negatives to both of the things that they're saying. It's about that conflict.
And that's where the flaw is, right?
But with Superman, you never really get that. He's always just like, oh, I'm just going to do the right thing, but never really questioning like what that right thing is. That it's just assumed, oh, Superman's just going to swoop in and save the day from the bad guys, you know. And that's I think
what a lot of people are worried about is like if you do get a black Superman and Michael B. Jordan, is he going to have like a black female love interest, right?
Oh, it's like Lois Lane going to be in black?
Yeah,
that can get a little hairy. I'm not going to lie. Because then if you, depending on where you, so for instance, if you turn Lois black, then it's like, oh, now we're just doing everything, right? Like everybody's black now, you know. And then if you leave her white, then it's, oh my, you're just going to piss off every black woman in America.
You gotta get like Zoe Kravitz to play nice,
to confuse everybody.
Fuck, she's light skinned, but I guess, right?
Yeah.